It's December 6th, 2014. This is the Blue Tarp Nation, Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not.
Okay.
And this is your Fortean Slip. News!
In our first story today from the Huffington Post. God, I love the Huffington Post. They have the best stories. A man claims to have seen, heard, and recorded Bigfoot in the British countryside. But like some tree stumps we've reported on in the past, this evidence doesn't yet have legs. Adam Bird, hey, that sounds familiar.
That name does sound familiar.
Yeah, I can't for the life of me figure out why. Adam snapped a photo of what appears to be something lurking in the woods. He also got some video of groans and groans in the woods. I should really pre-read these stories. That sound like they're ripped right out of the original Jurassic Park movies. Bird, who claims to be a Bigfoot investigator, told Metro that his buddies tipped him off to a nature reserve in Friskney. That is a hotbed for sightings. We stayed there for a few hours that day and felt watched and followed the whole time, he said. I took various photographs throughout the investigation, and when I checked back through them, I spotted the creepy picture. It looks like a shadowy figure stood within the trees staring at us from afar. He also took a photo of what he says is a Bigfoot print in the dirt. The photo is less convincing than the photo of the creature, or shadow, or stump, or flower in the woods. But
fucking grainy picture.
In the woods, but Bird's weirdest documentation is the video that features sounds emanating from the woods. To be fair, the sounds are consistent with what Bigfoot hunters across the pond, that's us, have told us about the beast's habits. Cliff Berkman of Animal Planet's Finding Bigfoot said last year that a Bigfoot will bang sticks against trees, called knocking.
Will they?
And hoot and groan to communicate. Sounds similar to
we have this all documented over here in the United States.
It's Cliff Berkman. He's the man.
Yes, is it fucking documented that they fucking do that, right? Is that correct, Steve? Steve, are you behind that?
I don't know.
Yeah, no. The answer, ladies and gentlemen, is no. Continue,
well,
Steve.
Scientifically documented, no.
Yes. Yeah,
documented on, like blogs and things, yes, and YouTube, because that's where all scientific-y stuff goes. Sounds similar to Berkman's description are featured in the video, but it's unclear whether the video is fabricated, and Bird couldn't be contacted by the time this went to press. In Adam's defense, I don't think he fabricated it, but I think he's a hoax buster just like I am. And
hey, I'm not like saying he's a fucking bullshit artist. I'm saying it's a blurry fucking photo,
right?
And to say that not Adam so much, but for people to say that like Bigfoot knocks sticks together and Bigfoot makes these noises. Says fucking who?
Says Cliff Berkman of Animal Planet's Finding Bigfoot. Didn't you hear the story I just read?
I fucking told a story about me edging for hours. There's no fucking proof of it. You gotta take me on my fucking word. That's all it is.
I'm taking you on your word for that one.
All right.
All right, and our next story from ancientorigins.net. Arbitel. Is that how you pronounce that, Chris? Arbitel? Probably.
I love how you pronounce origins.
Origins. What did I do?
That time you did it all right. Yeah.
Origins.
Yes, origins.
There's nothing wrong with the pronunciation of origins.
Yeah.
The Arbitel de Magia Veterum. The Arbitel de Magia Veterum, or of the Magic of the Ancients, is a Renaissance period grimoire. See, I did that one right.
Yeah, you got that one, okay.
a textbook of magic, and one of the most influential works of its kind. Unlike some other occult manuscripts that contain dark magic and malicious spells, the Arbitel contains spiritual advice and guidance on how to live an honest and honorable life. The Arbitel is claimed to have been written...
Sunshine and lollipops in this bitch.
That's right. The Arbitel is claimed to have been written in 1575 AD. The date is supported through textual references dating from 1536 to 1583. It is believed that the final editor of the Arbitel was Swiss physician Theodor Zwinger. Zwinger. Zwinger.
He's like a fucking 4-year-old.
Well, sometimes these names, tickle my insides.
I'm sure they do.
And that it was published by Italian printer Pietro Perina. I don't know how. The author remains unknown, although it has been speculated that a man named Jacques Goery may be the author. Like Zwinger and...
sure.
God almighty, Chris, why do you pick these kind of stories? Like Zwinger and Perna, Goery was a guy who believed in and followed the medical theories and therapies of Paracelsus.
Yeah, spit it out, son.
The focus of the Arbitel is one...
I say you're a newsman, son!
Not a very good one. The focus of the Arbitel is on nature and the natural relationships between humanity and celestial hierarchy. It centers on the positive relationships between the celestial world and humans and the interactions between the two. British poet and scholarly mystic Arthur Edward Scholarly noted that the Arbitel is clearly Christian in nature. He wrote that it does not contain any form of black magic, so that makes it Christian apparently, and that it's not connected to the greater or lesser keys of Solomon, which were focused on demonology. The most frequently cited book in the Arbitel is the Bible. In the manner it was written, it appears that the author of the Arbitel must have had portions of the Bible memorized, and that this highly influenced his writings. Anyway, it was an extremely influential work for its time. It is said that one cannot understand the meaning of the Arbitel without also understanding the philosophy of Paracelsus.
Yes.
Are you just going to pick on every word?
We often study the philosophy here at the Fortean Slip.
You done?
Keep going.
In 1617, two professors at the University of Marburg in Germany intended to use the Arbitel as a textbook for students. Actions were taken against those professors by the university, and the book led to a student's expulsion. Further, in 1623, an individual accused of being a witch, Jean-Michel Menchois, claimed to have used incantations from the Arbitel. The first edition was most likely published in Basel. Some claim there had been earlier editions, although there has been no evidence to substantiate
What
this.
about time?
What about time? Are you telling me the story?
Garlic.
B-A-S-E-L. Basel.
Basil?
Basel.
Okay.
Through its original edition and later translation, the Arbitel remains a fascinating look into the ancient spiritual advice and the different philosophies and views of the world from the 16th century. I skipped some of that stuff, Chris.
You really need to learn how to shorten fucking stories.
I just did.
No, not like before that. You could have shortened that story up paragraphs ago. For fuck's sake, you just keep going on. Yeah, and the book was brought to light in 1932 by a doctor. You could have just said it was a fucking good book that taught love, light, sunshine, and lollipops, and we would have been all good.
All right, I'll tell you what, Chris. I'll shorten this next story. I'll shorten the next one. From the dailymail.co.uk. Is Barack Obama's head on Mars?
No.
UFO experts claim to have spotted rock resembling the president in rover image. The end. Short enough for you. It's that Scott Waring guy. He's on YouTube finding shit in Mars all the time. So the story doesn't really need to be read. He found President Obama's head on fucking Mars.
No, he didn't. He found a rock on Mars.
Oh, and the picture dates back to 1997, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
So
it was,
now discovered President Obama.
It was predicting the fucking future.
That must be what it is. And in our final story, newson6.com, police say a Manford ghost hunter is arrested for, peeping on children. Manford, Oklahoma. An Oklahoma man was arrested after police say he admitted to peeping on a former roommate's minor children and then videotaping them in the bathroom. The Manford police, this is the fun part of this.
Trying to get an EVP?
He was trying to get something. The Manford police chief says the case was not even on their radar until this dude, Tommy Smith, called the detective and basically outed himself. Called the detective talking about an investigation into a hidden bathroom camera and paranormal activity. So he told on himself. Tommy Smith Jr.
No, really. I was just trying to get an EVP.
Tommy Smith Jr. was arrested on 4 complaints of peeping Tom with photographic equipment and 2 counts of lewd molestation. They had no earthly idea that they were being recorded, said Chief Lucky Miller. Chief Lucky Miller of the Manford Police.
Not Barney?
No, it's Lucky. Miller says Smith used a webcam for at least a year to record his roommate's 3 teenage children showering. Miller says Smith scratched off a small portion of the mirror.
What a fucking creep, man!
It was ghosts. Miller says Smith scratched off a small portion of the mirror and replaced it with a reflective window tint. Next, the chief says Smith cut a hole in the wall between the bathroom and his bedroom and put the camera inside. The guy went to great lengths to disguise the camera and great lengths to disguise the power cord.
I was just looking for some orbs.
And even the power cord that went to his computer, the chief said. Had you looked at the wall from the other side, you'd have no knowledge that there is a camera inside the wall. Inside the wall that's being powered by a power supply that's also inside the wall, he said. It wasn't until after Smith moved out when the former roommate was getting ready to sell his house that the camera was discovered. The roommate called police just 10 minutes after Smith himself alerted detectives.
He told the detective, I thought it was okay if they had hair.
He left the camera there thinking it would never be found by anybody. The next people will move in and everything will be fine, but he was sadly mistaken, said Manford Police Chief Lucky Miller. This is a real story.
Sorry, that one got me that time. Fucking Lucky Miller got me on that one.
Court documents state Smith told officers the video equipment was used in paranormal research. Ghost hunting, not buying it. That's why we continued the investigation, Chief Miller said. And as the questioning continued, the chief said the truth came out. When he started telling his story, it was more like he was bragging about what he had done and what he had seen, so we allowed him to continue his story. Ooh. After moving from Munford to Bixby, Smith continued to contact the minor victims through text and Facebook, even suggesting that one of the girls should get a job doing online webcam posting, court records state. What a fucking idiot. Smith was arrested, but Miller fears that there could be more victims out there. Police have sent all Smith's Lucky Miller. Sent all Smith's electronic devices to the OSBI for analysis, but says Smith was a computer programmer and he knew how to get rid of evidence. So,
but he wasn't lucky.
He wasn't lucky. Lucky Miller. What was his parents thinking when they named him?
They were thinking, hey, let's fucking name him Lucky. Maybe he was born with like a humongous dong.
That would be lucky. I'm thinking his parents were children in the 60s, probably.
Probably.